I'm putting these C9 LED lights on my house for Christmas this year because they can create any color pattern that my wife desires without me having to change all the light bulbs. They can also do really cool animations or even light shows if I want. Since they're 12-volt lights, I had the wacky idea to see if I could put them around my glass roof in my Tesla Model Y. It was really easy to do just using shingle clips and a little bit of tape. The magic behind these lights is the free software called WLED that runs inside this little control box. I'll put links to other detailed videos down below, but today I'm going to show you how I configured WLED to create these patterns in the car. By the way, using animated lights while driving is distracting to you and other drivers, and it probably isn't legal, so don't do it. Although WLED is meant to connect to your home Wi-Fi, it's not required. By default, it creates its own Wi-Fi hotspot that you can connect to from your phone, and that's how you can use it in the car. All right, so first thing, when you go to WLED, when you connect to the hotspot, it brings you to this little menu, and it says, do you want to set up Wi-Fi to join your house Wi-Fi, or do you just want to go to the controls? So here you can say, just go to the controls, or you can ignore it and use it without internet. And then that lets you bring up the WLED app. In the WLED app, it's a little easier to use. But in here, we can turn on the power and the lights go on. Voila! So if you've never used WLED before, it's pretty easy, but most of the time you use it for linear things like on your house, where the string starts at one side and goes all the way across the gutter to the other side. So in this situation, it's a circle. So there's a couple of different things that I'm just going to tell you about. We're going to set up a new segment. This is a 50 LED string, by the way. So I'm going to come into my configuration here and LED preferences, and see it says total LEDs 50. All right. And I have, for my LED outputs, I only have one output on this controller, and it's a WS2811, I believe it is. The color order is RGB for me. Your string may vary. And the length is 50 lights, obviously. Now, the first one that we're in here is just a solid color. You can see that's blue, red, green, whatever color you want, and make that solid. Okay, now here I have a very simple effect. This is called candy cane. Alternates red and white. And you'll notice that because my string starts over here, it goes all the way around and then ends back over here. So there's a couple of things you can do. The first one, if you look in this segment, you'll see that it says, let's see, there's a little button there for mirror effect. That's the first one. If you're putting your lights in a circle, that's the first one you want to know about. So when you click mirror effect, you'll see that it starts here and goes in both directions, and then it ends up over there. So that's really cool. If you have a loop, that makes a lot of sense. You want to mirror your effect. The second thing you want to do is, instead of having it start here, I want it to start in the middle of the car so that it goes this way. And the way I do that is with that offset. Currently it says the offset is 0, right? If I change the offset to, let's just change it to 10, you'll see the effect starts right about here. So now I just need to go a little bit further because I really need it to be 20. If I put it to 20, it will be the front of the car. And click apply, boom. Now you see it starts turning red right here and then works its way to the back. So that's cool. That's how you want it to be if you're setting up WLED in a car. And now I can go to any one of my effects. Now you see this is my effect here. I call it car rainbow, and it's just the rainbow effect that goes around. And there's another one for color waves. Again, starts in the middle, works its way around. And even this one is called fire. It originates from here and it looks like a glowing fire. That's actually a pretty cool simulation. I also did a cool one called Night Rider. And the way that I did that is I just used a short segment that the start LED is 14, which is this offset here, and the stop LED is 25. So it's a short segment out of the whole loop. And then I just put in the effect that I used is oscillate, and obviously the color is red. And so it oscillates back and forth. And you can adjust the speed, you can adjust the brightness, whatever you want. And naturally, you can set up any color patterns that you want and have them steady like this, but the power of WLED is that you want them to actually move. So I like this one. This is just a red-green chase. Now this one is called Lighthouse because it's supposed to simulate, you know, the light going around. But I like it. It starts, I like it. I just like this effect as well. All right, I'm gonna make them all white. And let's take a look in the back and I'll show you how that's set up. All right, let's see about this. All right, so as you can see, these are actually my Christmas lights that I'm gonna be putting on my house. And so these are waterproof connectors. Now, you don't have to use waterproof connectors, and you don't even have to use C9 bulbs if you don't want to. There are many different kinds of RGB LEDs like this. These are addressable, though. You have to make sure you're getting addressable ones if you want them to be able to do this kind of, you know, fun animations and whatnot. So I have this. This is actually an extension cord like this. This is called an X-Connect connector. And I had an extension cord that I cut and connected that to the controller. Now the controller is an Atom LED strip controller, and this one is meant for these kind of addressable LEDs. And so VCC is 12 volts, ground is obviously the black wire, that's ground, and then the yellow wire is the data. On the other end, you just need ground and VCC. Now for this controller, the voltage can be from 5 volts to 24 volts. I'm using 12 volts because that's what the car is. The car is 12 volts coming out of that. In the back there is where I have a, let me see if I can show it to you a little bit better. Now in the back there, you can see that is just a cigarette lighter in the back of my Model Y. And I have a cigarette lighter cord that I stripped the ends of. I got that on Amazon, and I plugged it right in here to this controller, and it all works really well. Now, that accessory cigarette lighter thing in the back there stays on for a few minutes after the Tesla is, after you leave the car and it locks. So the lights do stay on for a little while, but then they go off on their own. Maybe it's 5 minutes. I'm not really sure. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to show you about WLED. So here you can see my presets. The first thing that I do when I created this WLED, when I set it up, is I created a preset for off. And that's preset number 1. All right, and that's important to remember. You can see all the presets are numbered. So what I did is when you go into the configuration, into LED preferences, because my 12 volt cigarette lighter in the back goes on whenever the car is opened, it goes on automatically. I don't want my lights to come on all the time. So I have, you could see, I have apply preset 1 at boot. 0 uses defaults. You don't want 0. You want to control it, right? So you want to set a preset that when the power comes on, you want them to go to. I wanted mine to go to off, so that's why I used preset 1. You could have it differently. Yours may not be in a situation like that. You may have it where you're going to plug it in your console or something like that. And so you may want them to come on to a certain pattern to begin with. That's up to you. Whatever it is, you create that preset and you put that preset number in here. All right? And that way, when the power goes on, it automatically starts to whatever you tell it to. All right, guys, I left links to everything that I use down in the video description below. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment and I will get back to you. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Happy holidays.